application, HK Food Group 1030 LLC, doing business as Waypoint. Michael Skelfo, manager, has applied for a new all-alcoholic beverages as a restaurant license at 1030 Mass Ave with proposed hours of operation from 4 p.m. to 1 a.m. Monday through Friday and 10:30 a.m. to 1 a.m. Saturday and Sunday, and a proposed seating capacity of 145. Applicant is also applying for an entertainment license to include audio tape machines, CD, computerized digital media to be played below, at, or above conversation level, and 2 TVs.
Hello. Good morning, Mr. Chairman. For the record, James Rafferty on behalf of the applicant. Seated to my right is Michael Skelfo, S-C-E-L-F-O. He's one of the principals of the LLC and manager. And to Mr. Skelfo's right is Brian Lesser, L-E-S-S-E-R. Both Mr. Lesser and Mr. Skelfo testified at the public hearing, at the 2 public hearings that the Commission held on this application.
So even though I was not on the Commission at the last meeting, I know there was discussion about the sound, the acousticians, I think that's the word for it, getting together and meeting. Did that happen?
Well, I can report that on the same evening that of the hearing, we heard from one of our butters, who was one of the lead advocates around the sound issue, and he did give us the information. And our sound engineer, Ben Markham of Centec, is present this morning. We asked Mr. Markham to attend the hearing, and he told me about his engagement, and if you wanted to take a moment, he could briefly tell you what has occurred from his perspective.
That's fine.
Mr. Markham, would you be available to come up and spell your name for the stenographers? And you can sit in this chair here.
Sure, thanks. My name is Ben Markham, M-A-R-K-H-A-M. I work for Centec, A-C-E-N-T-E-C-H. I'm an acoustics consultant. Thank you, Jim.
Could you just share with the Commission, the Commission's aware of the activity you did, but since the hearing, the contact you've had with the neighbors, sound engineer?
Yeah, I had a telephone call with Chris Storch, who S-T-O-R-C-H. It's my understanding that Mr. Storch has been retained by abutters to the 1030 Mass Ave property on Green Street to investigate the sound issues in parallel to my own investigation. We had a very pleasant conversation. Day before yesterday, he informed me that he had...
Can I just back up?
Yeah.
So you provided information and data
Yes.
to Mr. Storch in response to during the course of that conversation?
And
when did that occur?
I'm sorry, thanks. The initial conversation that I had with him occurred just a couple of days after the last hearing. I don't have the exact date of that. And that was also a telephone call. I walked him through over the phone the information that was the basis of my analysis. He had most of that information already that Mr. Lesser had provided. There was one piece of information that he wasn't clear on. I sent him that information by email that same morning that we spoke.
Is it fair to say that within a few days then of the last hearing, you had provided to Mr. Storch all the information he had requested you concerning your investigation?
Yes, it is fair to say that, and furthermore, he acknowledged as much. He sent me an email back saying that he had everything he needed to do his analysis.
And did you hear anything further from Mr. Storch after you provided the information?
Yes.
What could you share that with the Commission?
2 days ago, I had a telephone call with Mr. Storch.
Did he contact you, or did you contact him?
Let's see. He called me, but it was in response. I had reached out to him to ask him if he needed anything else, and he contacted me in response to that.
So after you reached out to him and he got back to you, what did you learn, and what was said during that conversation?
He told me that he had done an analysis of the mechanical systems serving the restaurant, and that the noise levels that he calculated at the abutter locations were the same as substantially and numerically the same as what I had calculated.
During the course of that conversation, did Mr. Storch indicate any conclusions he was going to provide the neighbors with regard to his work?
He told me that he had, at that point, not yet put into writing his conclusions, but that he planned to do so and would be informing the residents that it was his opinion that he did not find that they had any grounds to object to the application for the license on the applicant on the basis of the sound that the restaurant would be producing. He also told me that he would be doing some ambient sound level measurements, which he had not completed at the time of our conversation.
And have you received any copy of the report or any recommendations since that conversation?
I have not.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Do we have, Elizabeth, do we have anything in writing from Mr. Storch?
I do not, no.
So I think there were other issues as well that were raised at the last hearing, or was that the only one you wanted to address today?
Well, candidly, my understanding is that the commission came very close to voting on the matter as we were urging them to do so, but the matter was continued to allow an opportunity for the two sound engineers to exchange information. And we understood and respected that, so it was my understanding that in the interim, we would provide the information, and that was done nearly immediately, and we have not heard anything beyond the conversations described by Mr. Markham this morning. So I would hope the commission now has satisfied itself that this applicant has provided information, worked cooperatively with neighbors, addressed their concerns. I know neighbors are here, and I suspect they wish to speak, but my understanding is that was the issue that needed addressing, and that was my sense that the commission declined to take a vote because, to quote one commissioner, we were almost there, but they wanted to give added time for the exchange of information between the experts. The record is replete. There were 2 public hearings. The level of outreach, we have hosted 2 meetings at the premises. We toured the premises with the abutters, walked them through all of the operations associated with the restaurant, including the location of the trash, where the deliveries will be occurring, location of where the bar will be, where the tables will be, kitchen. We provided detailed mechanical equipment surrounding the kitchen exhaust system that will be implemented. We made available our sound engineer as well as data from the mechanical engineer. Specifically went out and researched and designed an exhaust system that is considered cutting edge. It was used in a location recently in Boston, both because of its acoustical benefits and its environmental benefits. We submitted hundreds of signatures in support of the application, over 100 from the immediate neighborhood and streets surrounding the property, and there was testimony at the hearings from witnesses who spoke favorably of the experience that Mr. Scelfo and Mr. Lesser have had in Cambridge operating the Alden and Hollow restaurant. So I think the record is complete with evidence to support the application. We would urge the commission to do so.
So I know normally at these decision hearings we don't take public testimony. However, since we did ask to hear back on the noise issue, and we have heard from Mr. Markham, if there is someone here on behalf of the neighbors, perhaps one person who could speak on the noise issue, that would be welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. My name is Marilyn Wellens, Marilyn, Wellons. And yes, I thank you for the opportunity to speak. We did hire an acoustician, and his findings were essentially in line with Mr. Markham's. The good news from our acoustician is that the restaurant will not, thanks, noticeably add to the noise that we hear from 1030 Mass Ave. The bad news, of course, is that the noise from 1030 Mass Ave drowns out any noise from the restaurant, according to his calculations. And the bad news further is that we will, of course, live with the noise from street traffic on Mass Ave as patrons leave and enter. We will listen to the noise from the patrons as they claim their cars at 1 or later in the night. We may hear noise from work on site, as is permitted by the state and the city after 1 a.m. closing at any time. So given our history with 1030 Mass Ave, where the CO was reasonably held up pending compliance with the noise ordinance, and yet it nevertheless remains marginally non-compliant with those standards, we are glad for the good news, but we're very apprehensive considering our experience. And I'd like to point out just to the board and commission that for 35 years, this stretch of Mass Ave has been considered by the city an area of special planning concern. And it is for that reason that there are various buffers that are along the business B1 and business B2 zones between the commercial, the business, and the residential zones to try to maintain the residential quality of our own properties and those abutting us deeper into the residential districts. So that is the intention of the city. Now, how that intention gets carried out and protected so that our health and property values remain is another matter. And I understand that the License Commission and the police, among others, are the enforcement arms of the city concerning the noise ordinance. And I believe that if you look at the means available to the License Commission and the city to enforce the noise ordinance adequately, you will find that it is not kept up with the times. So I'm flagging this because the noise from 1030 Mass Ave and other lab buildings in the city, as they permeate, as they spread throughout the city, as demand grows, this will be a continuing and increasing problem, in my opinion. And I'm leaving quite aside the issue of mixed-use development in Kendall Square and other places. So while we're hoping that we also would enjoy going to the restaurant that's proposed, I'd like to point out finally that the owners of the building are looking to this as an amenity and a marketing tool for their own purposes. And if you check their website, you will find that they map out all the restaurants and other amenities nearby. So it is not to their disadvantage. And in granting this license, the commission is essentially giving them a little pat on the back and allowing them to continue this marginal compliance. And that is bothersome, and I believe that the city needs to address its own enforcement mechanisms for the noise ordinance and standards.
Thank you. Any questions from the commission?
No. At the last meeting, I was prepared to vote. Again, as we know, we waited on the acoustic reports to find out what the impact was. We are dealing with this particular licensing in this particular location. The building, the zoning is all approved for this type of use. The licensee seem to have made efforts to meet and try to work with the neighborhood. This licensee is not responsible for the entire neighborhood in terms of noise. We're dealing with this one right now. I would like to make a motion that we approve the license for Waypoint doing business at 1030 Mass Ave with the hours proposed from 4 p.m. to 1 a.m. Monday through Friday and 10:30 to 1 a.m. Saturday and Sunday with proposed seating of 145 patrons. With the application and entertainment license include the videotape machine, CD, computerized digital media played below, at, or above conversation level on 2 TVs.
Chief, can I add to that motion? That there be
Related to the
6 months?
six-month review, I'm
Six-month
sorry,
review.
thank you.
I have a question for the director. Just, do we have a baseline in terms of the noise generated by the building now, or do we need to get one before the applicant opens?
I believe Ms. Boyer has that. We've worked hand in hand with representatives from the building. I've been at building meetings as well.
And would it be possible to make arrangements with Ms. Boyer to do occasional readings after the restaurant opens, just to confirm the findings of the acoustical engineering?
Absolutely.
So I will second the chief's motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.